Hello again, everybody! Zack Attack is here with my TNA Impact Wrestling review for this evening, Thursday, November the 14th, 2013. Of course, the last one before the Turning Point Impact next week back in Orlando. Tonight's Impact still in Cincinnati. Of course, taped after last week's live episode from Cincy. I wish there was more matches like it was. Like last week, there was not a lot of matches. This week, there wasn't either, but I think it was decent, better action than last week. Still have some squashers. No disqualification, no screwy finishers, but still. Okay, back heading towards the turning point. There's new matches made and new stipulations made for matches. Especially a big match involving Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson. Now, those stipulations for that match were made during our first segment, which involved both guys. So, Bully Ray, he didn't really actually accept the challenge yet, storyline-wise, on the show tonight. So, Bully Ray officially accepted on the storyline the challenge that Mr. Anderson laid down for the no DQ match next week as part of Turning Point, saying that he is indeed the puppet master. Or should I say the master of puppets. Metallica reference. Anyway, so Bully Ray came out with, of course, his boys, Nux and Bischoff, after setting up Anderson last week with that fake breakup vote, setting him up to get triple teamed and annihilated by Bully Ray in Ace and Eights last week. And like I said, that's when he accepted the challenge. And Anderson came out saying, "Hey, Bully, I'm ready to kick your ass next week, but let's ante it up a little bit. Let's add some more. Let's sweeten the pot a little bit, should I say. That both guys have something to fight for. If Anderson wins, Ace and Eights breaks up this time for good. It ain't going to be no setup. It's going to be, we hope Ace and Eights break up for good. But if Anderson loses, he's going to be leaving TNA. He's like, I have a impregnated wife ready to get buffed to twins. If I lose, I'm going to be going home to be a dad and not be wrestling anymore. And of course, Bully Ray's like, you putting up your career against me? Do you know who I am? I'm the guy who laid you out by power driving you through on the stage. And if I get my hands on you, which I will next week, I'll power drive you through the stage. Power drive your wife as well. They got a little personal, and Bully Ray's added more insult. He's like, hey, you're putting up your career against me? Are you crazy? And it's up to the apron at that time. And he's like, yeah, I'm crazy. Bam! Got a little cheap shot in on Bully until being double teamed by the remaining members of Ace and Eights that are actively wrestling, besides Taz, who ain't an active wrestler anymore. He's a commentator. So as Nux and Bishop was nailing down, Anderson got back up, bring him up, clear him out of the ring, grabbing a chair, trying to hit Bully with it until Bully went out of the ring. And Anderson said, I don't want to wait until next week. I feel a little frisky tonight. So I want to fight anybody tonight, especially from Ace and Eights. So it was up to Nuxie to fight for the honor of Ace and Eights. Despite Anderson's early offense, of course, Anderson came in with his fast moves trying to outspeed the strong man known as Nux. But despite Anderson's best efforts, of course, he got hammered down for the majority of the match in the later half by Nux using his strength and power to his advantage in his okay opener tonight. With, of course, Bully Ray and Bischoff were tossed out of the ring side area by the referee, so we had no interference. And it really worked when it came down to Anderson's favor in the end. Despite Nux's best efforts to hammer down Anderson, it looked like Nux was going to get the easy win over Anderson, just pulverizing him. Anderson out of nowhere pulled down the mic check following a missed move by Nux. And the 1-2-3 victory for Anderson after that surprise gut check. But as we would see, Anderson was not done with pulverizing, or at least punishing, the Ace and Eights. Later on, he handcuffed Garrett Bischoff backstage, bringing him up backstage, which would lead towards the ending of Impact tonight when Anderson would take him out following our main event. And I'll get to that result of that situation after the main event when I discuss the main event. So as Anderson's way to give punishment to Bischoff, and of course, give Ace and Knights a piece of their own medicine, as we would see in the ending. We're on to our next matchup. In a Punk Team Challenge from Mr. Joseph Park challenging Daniels. After last week's match when Daniels and Kazarian was in an impromptu match with EY and Joseph Park got spilled on him. Apple Martini from Daniels, helping him get the victory and his team get the victory over Park and EY. Of course, Park and Daniels would face up tonight. No Kaz, no EY. It was mano a mano like it was in our first match. No outside interference. But in Joseph Park, it was almost like the Nux Anderson match, only the opposite. Like Joseph Park looked very good at the beginning of the matchup, using his strength to his advantage, and really pulverizing Daniels in the corner, even going for a Boston Crab at one point. But indeed, Daniels, with his sly, slick ways, was going for the cheap way out. And indeed, that's what he did in the end. But as Daniels was trying to fight his way out of the power move, from, of course, Joseph Park coming back later on with some big splashes, and he shook his hand at one point, wanting it to a clothesline. If it was his brother Abyss, like Daniels would shake Abyss's hand and would set up a black hole slam. We'll refer to Abyss in a moment. But as Joseph Park was trying to get back the advantage, of course, with referee's back turned a little bit, Daniels, of course, like last week, cheating with the Apple Martini, cheating yet again, using the low blow, getting the pin and the win with the low blow behind the back of the ref. Daniels gets another cheap victory over Joseph Park, this time in a singles match. And a little later on in the matchup, a little later on in the evening, should I say, Joseph Park came back out saying that I've had my issues lately with Daniels and Kaz, but I've had my other issues with Abyss. Everyone's like, where's your brother Abyss? Of course, that's why the Joseph Park character was introduced late last year when this whole Abyss thing Abyss was missing, only made periodic appearances. And that leads to the most puzzling thing I've ever heard. Everyone's handing out open challenges, specifically Gail Kim, which I'll get to her open challenge later on. But Abyss was challenged by his brother, Joseph Park, for an open challenge made to him next week at Turning Point. How can that fucking happen? If you don't know by now, I've been saying this for the last year and a half. And if you still don't get it, you're still gullible, jackass, fucking see it. Abyss and Joseph Park are the same fucking person. If you notice you don't see Abyss when Joseph Park's around, how the hell are they going to have this happen? Is Joseph Park going to admit he is his brother Abyss incarnated or something else? I don't know how they're going to solve this issue with this challenge, but I want to see how this ends up. Are they going to have like a fake Abyss come out to try to really hamp up the fact that Abyss and Joseph Park are the same people? I don't know how they're going to do that challenge, but the challenge is on, with Abyss being challenged by his brother, Joseph Park, for next week at Turning Point. Now on to our next matchup. Ethan Carter III, EC3, taking on in a handicap match, Dewey Barnes and North Funham. If you see my WWE Raw reviews, you remember when I made fun and complained about the fact that Los Matadors takes on 3MB every fucking week and I want Los Matadors to get new opponents? Well, I feel the same about Ethan Carter III. He's been beating up the same guys every week, it feels like. He's beaten North Dunham and Dewey Barnes in singles matches, especially beating Dewey last week, and now I get to face him up again in this handicap match. So please give EC3 some better opponents, or at least give him new jobbers to beat up until he can finally have the balls to step up against the big boys. Like I said, he's so-called undefeated. We'll see how he looks against people like Kurt Angle, Austin Aries, Jeff Hardy when he finally gets fucking better competition. I know he's supposed to build somebody up and make him squash people, but come on, this is getting repetitive, repetitious. It's getting too monotonous because of repeats. So the typical EC3 squash, kind of, Ethan and Dewey and North did try a little bit of offense, like they did, like sneak a little, like Dewey did last week. He did try to go for the comeback, these two guys were trying to get the advantage with the blind tag after Carter went for the 1%er on Dewey until, like I said, Dewey made the hot tag to North before EC3 would nail the 1%er. But even though the hot tag came in and Dewey was trying for a big cross kick or like a big drop kick from the top, he got caught by EC3, got himself a 1%er, double pin in the win for EC3. He's still undefeated in TNA until he gets better competition. He said, of course, when it comes to the Carters, the world needs us. The world needs better competition. The EC3 needs better competition. Speaking of the Carters in TNA, on with his auntie, Aunt D, and Dixie Carter coming out to announce the stipulations for the two remaining first round matches in the TNA title tournament to take place next week at Turning Point. We saw AJ again, of course, teasing the fact that he's been defending his title. He still feels he's the champion, defending it in Mexico. And I read a couple comments from last week. If I can even read the comments with the new fucking comment system that YouTube's got now. But I did read the comments. I was able to after a while, after fucking with the new comment system as everyone's been dissing a lot lately. But I did read some comments, but I love that AJ, the taking him off TV, really building it up. And I've been saying this for a while. I said like a few weeks ago that he's going to be like CM Punk. Like he's going to be written off television for a while. And they'll come back when the new champions reveal. We have two champions. Like whenever CM Punk storyline left for a while. When we see AJ defending his title, I bet you AJ will return, like I said, saying that he's the champion. We'll have some sort of unification match. I would not be surprised if it's at Lockdown or something, but I don't think it's going to last that long, though. By AJ being gone for a long time. But still, I like the way they're doing it with AJ, writing him off like that and defending his title elsewhere. But we have this tournament anyway. And Dixie Carter got the two remaining matches in the first round taking place next week at Turning Point. We got James. She already rolled the wheel of Dixie on the new Impact 365 video series on YouTube. And she announced that Storm and Rude will face off in a bull-up match. And of course, Dixie's like, this should favor Storm, but may favor Rude because Storm, what have you done for me lately? And Storm's like, I don't need to prove anything to you, Dixie. I don't need to show you what I've done for you lately. I'm gonna beat Bobby Roode, become the champ again. You don't want rednecks like AJ Styles to be champ. I am a redneck. You're proud of it. I'm gonna be the champ again after I beat Roode. Sorry about your damn luck. And of course, Storm would face off against the winner of the. If Storm were to win, he'd face the winner of the Magnus Joe match. With Man of the Mafia broken up, these two can focus on singles titles. In singles goals, not group goals of Main Event Mafia. Angle still was Main Event Mafia shit tonight still. But anyway, Magnus and Joe will face off in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Of course, Joe was very blunt with Dixie, saying, Dixie, the only reason why you got this tournament is because you need to cover up your bad business mistakes. You need to cover up the fact you didn't re-sign AJ. Save up your bad moves and whatever. So there you go. We have those two matches for Turning Point. The Open Challenge to Abyss by Joseph Park. And what's now going to be a recurring thing, the Open Challenge from Gail Kim. To anybody that's not on the TNA active roster, is she's going to do this challenge every week, probably until somebody beats her. And if someone does beat her, that woman will get a title match against Gail. Because these being non-title matches, or as I call this, an exhibition for Miss Gail. She took on her first challenge opponent, Hannah Blossom, coming from the UK boot camp show on UK television. She was seen on UK Impact earlier this year. So now she's in the USA. And just Gail, like I said, it felt like an exhibition because Gail with Lady Tapa and ringside, but Tapa did not get involved, thank goodness. There was no interference from Tapa. It was just a pure wrestling match. Once again, broken record, but still, it was like an exhibition. This Gail was just destroying Hannah Blossom, going for just great offensive moves, even going at least doing the figure four on the post again. But as Gail was trying to dominate and almost gained the quick win, Hannah did try to get some offense in, get some great hurricanrana moves and great elbows and big splash moves, And Hannah was really trying to get back in the game here and try to look good against Gail. For that little blur, Hannah looked very good until she missed the move. With Gail getting up with a clothesline, then setting up the defeat in a 1-2-3 victory for your Knockouts champion Gail, who will once again issue the Open Challenge next week at Turning Point. So we have 2 Open Challenges, 2 tournament matches, and of course, Bully Ray and Anderson for the future of Ace and Eights, and of course, Anderson's career. Now, and of course, Anderson would bring out Bischoff, handcuffed. He would unhandcuff him and take him to the ring, following a main event matchup, Kurt Angle against Austin Aries in a submission match. Very decent main event. There was a couple of good spots in this matchup. I like the sequence of events midway towards the beginning of the match when Angle and Aries was switching off and just going for like a submission attempts and just great sequence of events and great counters and great deal submissions and everything else. And I had a sneaky suspicion. I said it's my Attack Sports today. I don't read the spoilers for these TNA tape shows. But I had a sneaky suspicion that, of course, the man that Angle wants to meet in the finals, the man he's focused on more than Aries, Bobby Roode, will get involved. Well, he kind of did. He didn't get involved physically, but he played the mind games with Angle. And Angle would answer back with the ending of the matchup. So Roode grabbed a chair. He sat at the wing post. I thought he was going to come down and get involved physically. But just being there took Angle out of his game. Like I said, it was a mind game. Psyching Angle out as Aries took and tried to take advantage of that distraction by trying to nail a big move from the top until Angle caught him with a belly on the concrete. And there was also a couple, like I said, there was a great spots. The other great spot was when Angle kept trying to get the ankle lock on Aries, and Aries just rolled out of it and tried going for another move till Angle got the ankle lock on again till Aries rolled out of it. That was a nice other sequence of events there. And other sequences was, of course, Aries going for his submission, the last chancery, despite hurting gingerly his knee. He was going for a big move up the top at one point, and later having a matchup, and he kind of tricked the knee. I don't know if it was a rear injury or storyline injury, but Aries had the trick knee, and of course, he was going for Angle's weakness, the neck, really focusing on the back of the neck and trying to knock out Angle again like he did against Roode 2 weeks ago. But despite the punishment that Aries was delivering specifically to the back of the neck, especially when Mr. Aries did do the brainbuster at least once or twice, especially, like I said, focusing on the broken neck. And despite fighting gingerly with that knee and fighting gallantly with that injured knee, of course, Angle kept hammering it on, being the cyborg that he is, delivering 3 German suplexes and trying for another 3 until Aries got out of it. But indeed, as Aries was trying to bounce back near towards the end, going for a big 450 splash, Angle caught Aries missing that splash, went for the ankle lock, and I love Aries' counters. Aries had some great counters to the ankle lock, going for lariat, tossing Angle off the top, or off the middle rope, even tried for a splash from the middle rope at one point, but like I said, the injured knee really hampered his moves and really dampened him to take advantage after Aries had Angle down a few times, like I said, with the brainbuster, but he couldn't really take advantage of that opportunity because of his gingered knee. But as indeed, Aries was going for a big move again, trying for a running move to Angle the turnbuckle. Angle dunked it, and Aries hit the post, which set up Angle to set up a submission. But instead of doing his own finisher, with Bobby Roode playing his mind games on Angle by being there, Angle, like I said, decided to answer back the mind games of Roode by getting the win over Aries with the crossface Roode submission finisher. So it was an intimidation factor to the it factor by Kurt Angle getting the victory in the submission match over Aries, getting the submission victory, crossface. That means Angle will advance to the semifinals to take on Mr. Jeff Hardy. So Angle's a victory away from getting in the finals and hopefully facing Roode if he can pass through James Storm and the winner of the Magnus Joe match next week. Because Angle standing from the apron, wanted to get a piece of Roode early. But then, like I said, after this main event, here comes Mr. Anderson dragging Garrett Bishop out after knocking him out backstage and handcuffing him and telling him a little story and just bringing him up backstage until, like I said, Anderson dragged him out to the ring. Wood was still on the apron. Not on the apron, but still on the stage watching this. Just like a helpless bystander like he was during the ankle match. I'm very happy. No interferences tonight, despite numerous opportunities for interference. No interference. Topper didn't interfere in the Gale match. There was no interference during the angle Aries match. I'm glad that Wood didn't physically get involved in the ending. I thought he was going to get physically involved, but at least, hey, he got somewhat involved by getting in Angle's head. But despite that, like I said, Angle got the victory, especially when he did his own little mind game by using the crossface. So, Anderson, speaking of playing mind games, Anderson was playing his own little mind game of his own on Bischoff and to members of Ace and Eights by delivering a pile driver to Garrett on the stage the same way Bully Ray took him out a few weeks back, really hammering this thing home and possibly taking out the two guys in Ace and Eights. Like, he beat Knox tonight, and he took out Bischoff with the pile driver. I think it's Anderson's way of trying to take out Ace and Eights to prevent any interference. But he forgot about Taz, the commentator. I'll be surprised. I predict that Taz will get involved as well in the match. Taz has got really involved in the matches before, like hammering Bully Ray to hammer in the past. He's really helped Bully Ray as well as Bischoff and Knox have helped him. But I think Taz may turn on him. Who knows what the result would be? Because if Anderson wins, bye-bye Ace and Eights next week. And break up for good this time, not a fake breakup. But if Bully Ray wins, Anderson goes bye-bye and Ace and Eights remains. So we have that match next week for Turning Point. We have the two remaining tournament first round matches. We got Storm and Rude, Bull match. Magnus and Joe, Falls Count Anywhere. And two open challenges. Gail Kim's open challenge. And Joseph Punk's open challenge to Abyss. That's going to be very interesting to see how it's all going to how they're going to pull it off with, like I said, Abyss and Joseph Punk, the same people, the same person. I wonder how it's going to turn out. That is it for my TNA Impact Wrestling review for this evening. I will see you all later with that in mind. You've all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great weekend, everybody. Yeah.